What's up? What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of Talking Reacher. My name's Adam Vale. I'm a senior editor over at the Koalition.com.
And I am Lawrence, aka a Punk with Toys on all the social media platforms.
There you go. And man, thank you all. Thank you. Our first 3 episodes went up on the site, went up on Spotify and on Apple podcasts. They used to be iTunes and then Amazon. And so far, so good. You guys are listening. You guys are watching and then following and subbing. This is great. I'm glad for you guys and us. I'm glad for Reacher and Amazon Prime because they are really advertising this show. I see it everywhere. I see it on the homepage for Apple's site, of course. It's on the front page of Amazon. I mean, they're really pushing it. And it's fantastic that people are interested, engaged, looking it up, and finding us. So thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for everything. This is great. We are going to continue on. And so I just really want to get that housekeeping out of the way because it means a lot. It means a lot. We were putting in time. We were talking about doing this. And it's always great when you create something and you put it out there and then people embrace it. And they accept it. And I'm like, yeah, this is cool. We want more of this. Yeah, let's talk about it because we love this show. You guys love this show. You gals love this show. So that's what I have to say. Anything you want to add to that, Lawrence?
No, you know what? Hey, please, again, we appreciate anybody that watches it. But the best way to support the channel is please hit that like button. So many people forget to hit that like button. So please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. I've had a lot of fun talking about this. I have a feeling, there were some things we get to go back in time and look at a bunch of things on this one because we get to actually find out who Dominique is or Dominique.
Yeah, Dominique. Yeah.
I had a friend that she's like, call me Nikki, or if you're gonna call me by my real name, it's Dominique, not Dominique. So
she didn't want Dom. She didn't want to be called Dom.
She said my name is Dominique. So anytime I see that, I feel like I'm being very proper when I say Dominique.
Dominique. All right. So you know what? You already started off. So this is season 3, episode 4, Dominique, and it's hard to believe we're already halfway through. It was just like the first 3 episodes dropping day 1, and then here's 4, and there's only 8 episodes in this season. So
should it be? I feel like there should be at least 12 episodes. Especially when you drop 3 right at the beginning.
Yeah, it's weird because if you ever watch any British shows, I used to watch Sherlock. If you ever watch that one, really good show. 3 episodes per season. Granted, they were almost 2 hours long, so they were like mini movies, but still, like 3 episodes. And as you see, a lot of shows here are like 6 episodes. AMC shows 6 episodes.
The Disney shows are like 6 episodes.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll get a random. I think there was a Mandalorian had like 9 one season or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what's with that? Yeah, it's like, all right, what's going on here? But here we are, 8 episodes in. So let's get into it. This is it, Dominique. So we start off where we left off. We have the new number 2, Reacher, in the car with Zachary Beck. He gets a phone call. He starts spewing all the dirt, the fake dirt that Reacher pushed, talking about Duke. Oh, you put this guy, he's a spy, set me up, all this stuff. Don't worry, I got somebody else who's helping out. And we hear the confirmation. Reacher is now the number 2.
Yeah. And now he's his new lieutenant. And you asked the question. Do you remember the question you asked while we were watching it?
Yes. How much do you get paid as a number 2? Now,
what is the pay rate? Because again, if you become a lieutenant, that means you're going now from being, an enlisted.
It was a grunt. Yeah, exactly. He said he wanted $5,000. Remember, that was the whole thing. I'm a drifter. Just give me $5,000. I'll do whatever dirty work, then I'll move on. Clearly, he's getting more than that, but bring it up, right? I would.
Yeah, and again, I feel like Beck realizes this guy, one way or another, actually does care about his family.
Yeah.
We'll find that out a little bit more in this episode.
And you know what? I'll just say this. I really liked this episode because of that. We got a lot of questions answered.
Yeah.
A lot of story building, but just not dragging it out. And rightfully so. We're in the mid-season. Episode 4. I feel like we just started this. And it's like, this is the mid-season. But yes. Right. So, well, go ahead.
There's a lot that needs to be explained I want to start off with, Dominique Cole. Am I the only one that's bothered that her name is spelled Kohl and not Cole? I see it like that should be Kohler. It was.
Hmm.
I mean,
I've never seen it spelled that way. I've always seen it with the C.
it's been driving
So,
me. It drove me nuts the whole time.
right? It's like it is what it is. It's their show. It was in
It's
the
a little
novel
thing.
written that way. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. But hey, that shouldn't be your only issue with all this because again, we have this big 6'3", almost 300-pound man just wandering off again. So he gets back to the house, the mansion,
Yes.
right? Which I've clarified. Everybody, I put over on YouTube. I put the correction because
Yeah.
I don't know. A brain fart when we were talking about last time because clearly we made mention that he was wearing "I Love Maine" T-shirt. Bedoy, you're in Maine. But I kept saying New England because I was thinking of the kids' college. But anyway, we then see that he is now with Duffy and Billy. He goes to visit them, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" He clears it up. He said he went to go get some food, but he timed it, and so he just
It
needs
was
to.
about an hour.
Yeah, about an hour. So he just leaves. Okay, I get that.
Well, he's now the number 2, right?
He's in. Yeah, but still, you're a drifter. Think about this. You're a drifter. Let's say you're Zachary Beck. You're Zachary Beck. You just hired this guy. You bumped him up to number 2. And then you find out that he's leaving to go get food. Do you really trust him? Because like we have a cook on site. We have everything. Where are you really going?
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The maids are also like.
Yeah, she's
like
there.
The housekeepers, I guess, is a better way to put it.
Well, there is the cook. Yeah. There's a crew there for just that reason, so that way you don't have to drive to the mainland. Because as we saw in the last episode, if you're not taking that bridge, you're swimming. So now he can take the bridge.
Don't get set on the swimming. I don't want. We can't go.
I don't. Yeah, exactly.
Pull you off the swimming thing last episode.
I'm all done with the swimming. The Michael Phelps. Yeah, no, not happening.
Well, he does show up, and Billy asked, "What happened to Duke?"
Did you write that down? Because what was it? He said he went up just like the house, something like that.
Yeah, he said he's dead.
He's dead with the house. He's gone. Don't worry about Duke. Duke is dead.
And we see Susan hand, they start talking about everything, and Susan hands a picture of McCabe. And this is where, what we had already talked about. I believe we talked about it on screen here, that it seemed like McCabe was going to be Quinn. And sure enough, it was confirmed that McCabe is Quinn. And now we're going to learn all about Quinn and exactly what happens with him and Dominique.
Yeah. Big flashback scene back and forth, but predominantly this episode was just that flashback. We see Sergeant Dominique Cole.
Yeah, and Susan is very like, hey, we need to know, what am I going up against? What are you getting us into, basically? So this is where we don't see any of his old unit, though. Like, it's
before that. Because remember, he even cracks that joke when his commander, the general, came over and says, "Hey, here's another case file," and he's like, "Yeah, whatever." He's like, "You need help. You definitely need help. We got to bring some." He said, "What, like a unit or something?" He didn't even have one at the time, and he was like, "Yeah, I got somebody for you. Top of her class, whatever, great at her job, Sergeant Dominique Cole." And then he looked at him and said, "She's here already, right?" He's like, "Yeah, she's here." She comes in and they have a fun interaction because he's like, "I know you just found out 5 minutes ago." He's like, 3 minutes. And, you don't like people around. He's like, "Yeah, that's why I have no chair in front of my desk. I don't want people sticking around, make themselves comfortable."
I feel they did a wonderful job of showing the dynamic that he respects her from the moment she walks in, because she did her research on him. And he only had a little bit of time, but he also realized, she basically said, "You just found out I was coming over, or else you would have done your research on me." So he has respect for her. Like, there's none of this backhanded compliments or backhanded, respect. He realized, like, she is a straight shooter. She knows her job, and she doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah. She definitely, it seems, on the up and up with all of that. And the one thing is that he kept saying, and this comes up later, so we should bring this up. She kept saying, "Sir." She's being very formal. She's part of the military, just like he is, but he's like, "Just call me Reacher." That's the running joke throughout all the seasons. Yeah, everyone's calling him Sir. He's like, "No, just Reacher." So she quickly adapts and was like, okay, Reacher. And she stops saying sir, which comes up big later on.
Yeah.
And once she presents all the information that she seems like she knows what she's doing, he gives her the file that he was just handed. Says, all right, review that while I get coffee. And my little gripe, not my, I don't know, little things like this, I don't understand. But she says, all right, no cream, no sugar. Just say you like it black. Like, isn't that what that is, right? It's just black, but I don't know. I found that interesting that she said it that way, and just whatever. But she reads through and she says none of this adds up because it looks like they're investigating someone, part of their intelligence unit that might be giving away secrets or something.
Yeah.
And so they are going to do an investigation. They're going to tail him and see what's going on. And then that leads us to the park.
Yeah. And then we see them sitting in the car doing their surveillance. And they're kind of still getting to know each other at this point. Which for someone who's going to be, again, you guys have already watched this, someone who's really only going to be in an episode for one, they do a lot of building up that they got to know each other pretty well in this short amount of time.
And that's the thing too, because I was expecting to see like a little timestamp, like 2 weeks later, or whatever. This was literally their first case working together. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, we've worked a bunch of cases and then something happened. And no, this was the one and only.
Yeah.
And so they go, they see that the person that they're trailing heads off, drops something into the garbage. They figured this is the drop point. It's not. It was actually somewhere else. She's all upset about it. He's like, don't worry, we'll figure it out. And then they decided, you know what? Let's just call his bluff. They pull him in and question him. Go ahead.
But they kind of figure out exactly where that they knew that someone might be watching them, and that where they were watching the drop, it was done at a garbage can that his car was blocking. And as they run over there, it was in the newspaper, and someone had already picked everything up.
You know what that brought up when I saw that scene? I thought of him. We talked about this before off camera that you watched. The Night Agent. There was something similar that happened in that one as well. I remember with a car and hiding off and doing stuff. But whatever. That's a whole other spy show. But
it's a really good show. I'm just
I
really like that show.
Hey, see, it makes me wonder: is that real? Is that a thing? Is that a position?
I don't know, but the lead actor, the new guy or newer guy that started at my job, I told him, I'm like, hey, if this doesn't work out for you, you need to just go be his stunt double. And a few people didn't say it, and when I said it to him, he's like, I have to look it up, and he goes, yeah, a few people have said I look like him. He's tall like him. He's kind of gumpy like him at times. He's got the same hair. I mean, it's to me, it's creepy. Like he could easily be a stunt double.
Shoot. Yeah, well, that's gonna help him out in life if that show takes off, because people are like, oh man, look who's here. All right, so Cole is in there doing the one-on-one investigation. The police style type of situation where there's a mirror, but reaches on the other side.
So the guy that they bring in is specialist Roland Gorhowski.
Good that you wrote that last. I just wrote Roland. That was like I was not. Gorhowski. There you go. We'll just Roland G is who we're calling special unit. She's grilling him. Why are you selling us out the country? How could you be a traitor and all this stuff?
Yeah.
He's keeping low profile. I'm not a traitor. I'm not this. And then he comes clean that they kidnapped his daughter. Right. And she was like, who kidnapped your daughter? I can't tell you. He's on the inside. Long story short, as we know, he spills all the beans. It's Quinn. Right. It's Xavier Quinn. He's part of the special unit group, right? Of some military special force. Yeah, special intelligence, military special intelligence.
And they didn't give him anything. Like they weren't paying him. He's like, I've never taken a dime. Yeah. They showed me, they kept my daughter, and then the things they said they would do to her if I didn't. I think we're gonna see that later on. I mean, it's kind of foreshadowing what is about to happen as we move ahead. And you can just see, because I like the fact that on the other side of the mirror, Reacher is watching it, and he's like calling, like he's like, you would think he had an earpiece in,
That's
Like he
what I
was
thought. I
so
was like, it makes perfect
yeah.
sense to have the earpiece, but no, there is no earpiece.
He was like super impressed by how she was doing it. She was handling everything perfectly, and the fact that he let her go in there rather than this big hulking man to try and intimidate and scare him.
Yeah, that was also cool because between the questions, she was just giving a good amount of pause to let things simmer,
Yeah.
and then he was just saying in his head, he was like, "Let him simmer, let him think about it, let him feel the pressure," and then she would, continue on, and he was like, "Great, yes, Cole, good."
Yeah.
But yeah, she was definitely doing a great job.
And this is once again building up that he has so much respect for her. He realizes she's really good at her job. All right. And this is what the general had told him when he basically said, yeah, you're being
Yeah,
assigned.
yeah, yeah.
There's nothing you
Yep.
can do. Like that's just it.
Somebody to help, and she was definitely helping. She was holding her own. Let's just say that she was definitely holding her own, and he was accepting that because Reacher is very much a drifter in his own life of just even work. He likes to work solo, which is why it's always funny. And when he started the 110, that whole process.
Yep.
But anyway, I think this is also when we're introduced to Tony, the other member of the crew that jumps in, right? So another guy comes along. He's there to help out. He's instantly smitten with Cole. You can tell he's already got the stars in
Yeah.
his eyes, and Reacher notices also. But this is the part that sort of confused me because it was very rushed, where I guess he had provided some information. I don't recall all of it, but they know it's a Syrian international, right? And that this is the person that Xavier is selling intel to or blueprints for some equipment. And they were like, well, we know where he is. And this is why I say it threw me off. Because, well, why can't you just go to his office or somewhere? No, they find him in a nightclub. They go to the nightclub. And
And
I was like,
I thought there was something up with Tony. I thought he was on the take. We find out later he is not.
no, he's definitely not on the take.
No, he was not.
Yeah.
He was on the floor.
Yeah, he's on the floor. He's taking a nap. That's what he's taking. But oh man, but yeah, but that threw me off. I was like, all right, well, then this has to be a set piece for the show. There's gonna
Yeah.
be a big fight scene, John
Yes.
Wick style in a club. This is
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
This was weird because they don't want to go into the club. Well, Reacher doesn't want to go into the club. They're doing this surveillance. And this guy just comes out like the back alley and they just follow right behind him.
Yep. There was but we had to miss the funny part because Reacher, he's a hulk of a man. He's in the back seat. We got Cole driving, and then Tony shotgun. And of course, like you mentioned, Reacher's like, I don't like this. It's like, what, the club scene? It's like, no, music, if you can even call it that. So he says to her, and then Tony's like, well, I like to dance. And then he just like, there's that side glance is just staring dead eye at Cole, but she's too focused on the job. She's looking at the floor.
She was oblivious.
Yeah. But it's funny to see that scene because Reacher's right in the center of them, and he could clearly see. He's looking at both of them like, oh, I see what you're doing. What is this?
So they go after, I think it's Quazam.
The Syrian International. Yeah.
Syrian.
That's it. The national Syrian national.
Safwan Quazam. Except there's no U. So Kazam? I don't know. We'll say the Syrian national. Someone right now is going, oh my gosh, you are obliterating that name.
That's what I'm saying. That's like, I don't even bother. I was just like, it's a Syrian national who he has his security detail. And
hey, I'm just gonna say this: it's easier than his real name. Just gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
That one I'm not even gonna try and pronounce.
There we go. Hey, no disrespect to the guy. We just say it's just not in our vocab, so we don't want to butcher it. We're honest. We don't want to butcher.
Anyway.
But they get to the alleyway, right?
Yep.
And I don't recall it. But did they hit the first guy? I think they did, right? Because then the other ones.
Yeah, he punches the first guy if I remember correctly, and then they beat up a couple of them actually.
Did it? Because I remember the otother two, and then Dominique took out the gun at some point.
Yeah, and then the one guy stands in front of the Syrian national. And basically Reacher says, listen, what is this, $5 an hour or something like that? And he said, take your guys and get out of here. And then he ends up working out this deal. But this is when after they work out this deal, this is when he basically tells Tony, listen, you have the hots for her. I know it. I can see it. But then basically breaks everything down. Don't buy roses. Do this. Do that. Don't take it. All right. So now we know.
Would you take advice from this man?
Now I was waiting for
dating?
Tony. I was waiting. Well, I don't know, man. Look at him.
Exactly. He doesn't need any of that stuff. As we've seen in prior seasons, he takes his shirt off.
He's the guy who goes, you want to come home with me? And you're like, that's my date. Like, she's leaving. Okay, I'll see you home.
That's how it works. That's how
I was waiting for Tony to turn on them during this.
Oh wow, you really did think
I did. I totally thought, because I didn't get the vibe at first that he was into Cole as much as I thought he was just another traitor.
I think I could see that now that I think about it, because he just popped up in there. He wasn't part of.
Yeah, there was no reason for him to be there.
Yeah,
like,
it was just
private too.
Yeah, he was a private. So what's the next part of this? He fills him in on all the information. He gives them they see the copy of the document. No, he tells them, before that, he tells them, I guess, where it was going to happen, because then we see the drop-off exchange take place.
Yeah.
And then they get once they see that Syrian national, he gives them the briefcase. They confirm, yep, this was the intel. This guy, Xavier Quinn, is selling these blueprints. So it's all in the bag. This was my gripe, and we could talk about this, because this was my issue with this episode here, because it just seems out of character for Reacher. When they're back at his office, and now Cole presents information. Yeah, we confirmed it to the T. This is it. This is all the documentation. And he says, hey, this is it. This is all your work. This is your collar. Go get him. Go arrest him. That's it. We're done. He's like, oh, really? Yeah, just go. That's it.
Yeah.
Why?
He has state secrets. He has all this stuff, right? This is truly one of those things where you the SWAT team, you are making sure that this guy is not getting away.
Yeah.
There was no reason to send somebody in. Like, you have him dead to rights. There would be no reason to smooth them. And again, when he's like, this is your collar, you need to put the cuffs on. That's fine. She could still put the cuffs on, but you were still going to go.
Go in a team. I mean, we know that he rolls around with a group of guys.
And they had a team, right? They had a team.
Yeah. That's why that part threw me off, because I was like, this doesn't sound right. Why would you? No. But whatever. Hey, he has faith in Tony. I guess that was it, because even that. Oh yes, that's it. That's what led to the fight, because when he noticed with the Syrian national, with the security guards, he was more focused on what was going on with Cole instead of everything else. And Reacher told him, hey, you got to snap out of it. And that's when he said, hey, you're interested. I see it. But this, if you don't pay attention, it's not going to be one dead agent. It's going to be two or dead soldiers.
But he never says, when he says, Cole, go get him, take Tony with you. It makes it sound like she's going in by herself.
Yeah.
That's true. Why would you not think that Quinn has other people working with him? There were things that didn't make any sense. But after he says that, then they go back to present time, where he's talking to Susan and Billy, and Susan pretty much, commends him for what he did. That there's guys in charge that have been taking credit for years, and here you are saying, "Hey, you know what? You figured this out." She commends him for what he did. Until she finds out what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Until she finds out what happened, because he starts getting nervous. Time is going by, and then he's looking at his phone, and he's like, he hasn't received any message. He hasn't heard anything. He does his whole Sherlock Holmes breaking down the amount of minutes, down to the second of how long the whole operation should take. So he's like, she should have been back by now, and the whole thing. So,
and I feel like this is when, because it's still early on, that he's still taking a lot of direction from the general. You're realizing this general here is the one that has trained him. He's a major, so it's not like he's low on the totem pole. There's only the colonel and then your general for the most part, right? So he's up there, and this general's like, remember what I taught you? Text or I don't text. Then he's gonna text, and the text that comes back says,
This is it. It was like, oh, I already cuffed. Everything is good, but the key part, sir.
yes.
And he looks at the general and says, "She never says sir. She knows.
Yeah. She
This
called me
isn't
sir at the beginning. I told her not
Yep.
to. She never makes the same mistake twice.
Yep. And that's when he knew that everything went south. So he heads over there again. You would think because of the situation and what's going on, he have the general there. Get some soldiers, roll in deep, but no, it's Reacher. So it's just Reacher.
I thought it was a whole team that went in.
It was no. Remember, it was by
Reacher?
himself because he said he called for backup for the police to show up. Remember, we were questioning where are the police during this whole thing. They eventually show up, and they even try to confirm. Oh, are you Reacher? So
Well, I thought didn't they find Tony and then? Was Tony at the same place or was it a different place? It's not.
Oh, now I'm blanking. Let me look at mine. Hold on.
Let me see here.
Because he no, because he rolls in. Yeah, we joked about the fact that he doesn't take cover or crouch or anything or frog walk. He just walks straight into this location here.
Yeah. Well, they go to Quinn's house, and that's when he finds Tony dead.
Yeah, he finds Tony. That was it. Oh, that was the first.
Yeah, so then he says to Richard, talking to the general, they're trying to find, and Richards is driving now. Now he's just driving. All right, like I'm gonna circle around, like it's a
because there was like 3 houses within that area. That's right. Yeah. There was 3 locations. They did find Tony. Tony's dead.
Yeah. So the general breaks it down. He's like, that's where he's at. I'm minutes away, but the state police or any police are at least a half hour out. Go figure. Right?
Yeah, half hour out.
Now, here's another thing. He goes there. Now, we just saw him break in, and if I remember correctly, he was carrying a rifle, right?
He was carrying.
And now he just has his pistol.
Like he put it, maybe it was a bad cut, or he put it down on the side.
So what we do see is, again, this probably bothers me more than the swim. So he goes to the house. There's a barn, and he just walks straight across. Lights are on, straight across. Once again, this bothers me way more than the swimming because I can just see him. This guy's a massive man, and it wasn't even dark. There was lights, and he just walked straight across to the barn.
I was thinking about that because we're always joking on it, and it seems like this is just him, and maybe they're meaning the producers and all this is like, how do we make this massive man look like he's sneaking? It would look awkward, right? Because he's so big. So they're like, why bother? We're just not gonna bother.
I guess.
They're like, just have him walk. Because if you see him try to turtle walk or whatever, and just like a frog walk is and then or lean against the side and like peek through windows, it probably wouldn't look believable because he's so big.
It shouldn't bother me. It does. And I don't know why. It's something really stupid and something that I probably I could overlook, but I just haven't. So
hey, no cream, no sugar. Okay. No cream, no sugar. You want black? I said no cream, no sugar. Black, no cream, no sugar.
So he does walk over and he goes to the barn. He can see a kind of opening. He looks inside, and all you see is feet. And there's blood dripping down. And I said to you, this is very anticlimactic.
Well, so what? This is the part, and I agree because you're expecting, I don't know, some kind of maybe he would confront him in the process. She would have some last words, or
maybe we would have seen him torturing her or something.
Or we'll get to when we get to the end of it. Maybe when Reacher is questioning Quinn, quick flashbacks, of just showing it. Because again, I don't want to jump ahead, but we'll find out that not much info came from this. But yeah, what we do know, at least from what I'm gathering from what we did see a little later, he tortured her. He stripped her naked and started torturing her.
Yeah, and earlier on, Reacher said she would never give me up. Like that's how much. Not so much that he trusts her, just that's how she is. That is a soldier that she is. That she is never going to reveal any secrets. Now, I did say to you, it was very anticlimactic, her just being hung there, but it was more realistic too, because I would assume that if you found someone, it wouldn't be in the middle of the torture. It would be because we knew she was dead. He already said that she was dead. Um, so the fact that he finds her, you kind of see her, you see him, but you never see her. You just know that she's hung up there.
That's it. Yeah, we never see her face, so use your imagination. And he said torture,
Yeah.
so it was going to be pretty
You
bad.
see the blood. You see the blood that's dripping down.
Mm-hmm. Really
So
sad.
Yeah. Then he goes out and he walks down, and Quinn's just stuffing money. Just
Yeah, that's it. He's just there packing up, and then he comes up with this whole thing. He's like, "Oh, she was in on it. She was helping me there, even with the drop off at the park, and then she got greedy and she wanted more and all this stuff." And and he was like, "Okay, well, what's her first name? What? What's her first name?" He couldn't answer it, and then he tries to hit him. Why are you going to try to hit this massive? That always throws me off. We saw it in the last episode with these street punk kids. I just that's not the first thing I would do.
well, I mean, you want to try and survive. I mean,
Yeah,
Quinn does say, "I'd rather take 20 than life."
yeah. He's coming up with all that, and then they go for the walk to the cliff,
Yeah.
right? Because I guess it's on a cliff end.
Reacher knows these cops are 20 minutes out.
And one little side note before, because it was really quick in passing, right before he left, Reacher, when he was talking to the general gave him the okay to make this guy disappear.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
that was another.
that was the other thing. That was a green light, so he does not have to bring him in
And
for any question.
basically, even if he would have gotten caught,
Once they saw that, there's no way this guy was going to make it back. They could have easily said, "Oh, something happened."
But
He
even if
bumped his
Reacher
head
would
in
have
the
gotten
back.
caught, he would have been removed from jail by the United States military. Like that general has the power to show up and be like, "You need to let him out. We'll take care of this."
Yeah.
So, but he takes him to the river, and
he puts that gun. He points a gun, which we find out, which is again, it's like one of those things that they probably didn't think of until after. I don't know, maybe they did, but he points the gun in his head, and he tells him who that person was. Her name is Dominique. Cole, remember? And poof, shoots him. Guy falls to his death. So you think, and then we get present day, and this is when he specifies. He was like, "Oh, I was using Xavier Quinn's 22."
Yeah.
Right. So that way they wouldn't link my military weapon with the bullet if they did find the body or the shell case or whatever it was.
Yeah. And it does hit him in the face, but it, and she basically says so probably lodged underneath. But
it's a small, the bullet isn't that powerful. It's not that strong of a gun. So the bullet didn't go all the way through, which is how he thinks he survived.
Saying his, her name, it really does lead back to, episode 3 was number 2 with the bullet, and then there was trucking. Like they all have meaning. They're not just named, which I do like. I like the fact that there is a specific reason that they name each of these episodes, and they do a real good callback to most of them, especially number 2 with a bullet.
Oh yeah, number 2 with a bullet, especially right to the end, and then you get it because we were wondering. It's like, oh, what's this mean? What's gonna happen? Oh, I get it. I get it now. And this is here. But then also during this story time, when they get present day, Duffy then comes clean of her own guilt of why she wants to go get Teresa.
Yeah,
Teresa is not a paid informant. She was actually threatening her with jail time because she caught her and her boyfriend with drugs and the whole thing, and just basically forcing her. If you don't do this, you're going to go to jail. And she feels guilty because she put this person's life.
Yeah, Teresa's an idiot. Yeah. So she knew she could.
I said
it. Adam didn't. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't met her yet. Maybe, who knows? Maybe the next episode is called Teresa, and then Duffy comes clean. But oh man! But at least we know what's going on with that.
Yeah. So Susan feels bad, and that's the reason why she needs to get her out, because she basically lied to her just to get whatever she wanted. The same way kind of, Reacher has done in some ways.
Yeah.
And Billy makes some comment about like, this guy's, he's kind of killed a few people, and we just
Oh yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there now because that's coming out. So now, right after they have that little powwow there, Reacher heads back to the mansion. And then he comes in through the back door area. And
Yep.
who's there? We got the maid there, the cook there, just hanging out. Who knows what time it is? But then he notices, hey, oh, that's right. I got to wipe my feet. So he does wipe his feet.
Well, he notices, but he gets that stare.
Oh, yeah. They're waiting. They're waiting for it to see if he remembers.
The one housekeeper that I would probably assume is the cook. She has that look, and he stops and he wipes his feet.
Agnes. I think that was her name, Agnes.
Is it Agnes?
Yeah, one of them is named Agnes because he said Agnes.
Yeah, Agnes and Annette.
There we go. Yep.
That is the younger one.
Yep. And the best part is when he says, do we have coffee? It's like, yes. Are you asking that you want coffee? Just say you want coffee. He's like, don't just ask, don't just throw it out there. Just say you want coffee. And then he says he wants it black. So at least he doesn't say no cream, no sugar.
And then Agnes asks what happened to Duke. And he says something like he's no longer working.
Yeah, he no longer works here. He's gone. And when he was asking what's going on, is why they're up, and they're like, oh, we're preparing for the birthday party. Zachary Beck's 50th. Zach's already turned in for the night, and they're getting things ready. It's like, oh, a lot of friends coming, no friends. It's just rich people and people with power. And then that's when they question, like, why are you asking these questions? Like, well, I need to know.
They did say Zachary Beck's 50th birthday party, right?
Yeah, because we know this from the last episode when Richard went to go buy the pop gun, and he said it was for my dad's birthday.
I will be 50 next year. Do I look as old as him?
No, nobody looks as old as him. Isn't that the running joke that this guy is what's it? Anthony Michael
Hall. And he was born in 68, so he's already past 50.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like he doesn't the actor is much older than what they're saying here. I don't know.
Wouldn't it be awesome in the next episode?
I'm pretty sure. Wait, now you question me. Did they say 50? I'm pretty sure they said 50.
What?
I'm wondering if it was 50. Maybe I'm just throwing 50.
No, I thought they said 52. 50 also, shall I say.
Oh, okay. 50 also. Oh, yeah. Maybe it's 50. Well, go ahead, people. Leave in the comments if you remember the exact age of Zachary Beck.
Yeah. Which I think would be awesome if in the next, like, whenever the party is, if it kind of comes out, it's like, you're not really 50. You know that, right?
Yep.
But Reacher starts asking questions, and he basically says, hey, if I'm the number 2, I need to know, I need to know about this stuff. Which is understandable, right? Why are you asking all these questions? Well, I need to know. And then
he's the number 2, and then he goes. That's it. He goes to leave and then call it a night. Right? Yep. I mean, what else did she say? I don't think she says anything else. I'm trying to remember. I didn't write anything else. I just wrote her name Agnes because he said goodnight, Agnes.
And then he doesn't sleep under the covers. He sleeps in his underwear.
Yeah. Which is also kind of I mean, I guess you're doing this. The guy's Diesel. I don't know. It's just they have to figure out ways to show this off. We get it. We respect the man's his work ethic and his gym work, which we don't see on the show. I would have preferred if we just see him not sleeping and just doing crunches and push-ups or something. You know what I mean? Like just jacking. Like that's how he relieves his stress.
Isn't that what like Arnold was doing in Twins? Or maybe it was Danny DeVito that was doing that in Twins.
Maybe. Oh, that was a good movie. But it's early morning, and the maid comes and says she got him some clothes, and she's shocked. She gives him the Duffy look that we saw. It's like, oh man, because
this goes back to your whole thing of like, hey, he doesn't need to like snooze talk women. He just says, hey, exactly. Without my shirt on, well, hold on, let me take it off.
Exactly. It just. I mean, I'm going straight to it. I had a friend that he was like very well built and tall, and man had no problems getting anyone's attention. Okay, it was walk in a room, they would walk over, talk, and then they were hooking up. It was very simple.
And that's just it. It's not just being well built; it's the height.
Yeah.
Again, I was at one time well built. I'm 5'4". on a good day. All right. If I was, let's say, 6'4" and built the same way, yeah, you're right. It would have been
Yeah, yeah.
just,
Oh, it's a whole big, yeah, everything's different.
hey, have
But
you got my shirt on? And they'd be like, no. I'm like, well, you can see it at the house, and they just follow you.
that's it. That's it. So she says what she bought him a double X that was as big as she can get. Hopefully
Yeah.
it fits or whatever. And he's like, all right, whatever. And he was smelling it. It's like something wrong. He's like, it's been a while since I smelled new clothes.
That was that was weird. But he is usually buying his clothes from a thrift shop. So technically, I don't.
But then, as we know, he always walks around with just a toothbrush, right? Isn't that the whole running thing that he
Yeah.
carries? Just
This one
no deodorant? Are you all natural? We don't see pit stains on that dirty T-shirt of yours. So something is holding it back, unless you're just one of those non-sweaters. There are people like that.
I never was, when I was younger. Now, if I skateboard too much for long periods of time, I will sweat right through a shirt and hat. I'm making up for it.
Hey, for those who don't know, Lawrence over here, 49, still skateboarding.
I still every
Still
now
skateboarding, not longboarding. Don't get it confused.
No.
He's not cruising.
You mean
He's at the
wrongboarding?
Yes, they're wrongboarding. There you go. No,
My
he's
buddy
at
said
the
that, and I
skate
went,
park.
never again will I not say wrongboarding.
Yeah. So he goes into the room, he chucks the bag, he's looking at the clothes, and then he hears what sounds like punching. And I find this interesting only because this is not usually, if you're going to punch a bag or do anything, why not in the barn? Why is this outside? I don't.
I didn't think about that, but that does, yeah. Why is the punching bag outside?
Yeah, I didn't get that, but whatever. He sees it's Richard. He's over there with some boxing gloves, and he's teaching himself how to box. Wrong way. That's not how this works. At least
What?
make it funny. Have a phone propped up where he's watching some YouTube videos on how to, properly box or fight stance.
All right, so there's a couple things here I have to say. This kid is like punching the punching bag, and like you said, wrong. Now, it is hard if you know how to do something. It is hard to do it wrong on purpose. One of my biggest pet peeves, if you watched Cobra Kai, the early seasons, Johnny Lawrence's son, who we find out later is his son, right? I can't remember his name. Robbie. Yep. He's like part of these kids, right? But they're supposed to be like really into skateboarding. And then I would see them skateboard, and you could tell they had no idea how to do it. There's nothing that drives me more than something like skateboarding, and you could tell they can't do it. Like, just don't show them on the skateboard. Or someone plays basketball, then you can see they don't know how to shoot.
But you know who's to blame for that? It's the producers that are to blame, because they show no respect to the form. And so then they're like, we'll just have these guys that are just skateboarders.
Yeah.
Just give them some skateboards.
When it comes to this, it's definitely one of those things where I don't think this kid really does know how to punch.
Yeah. He didn't know anything.
Yeah. And it really comes off because the stance is so bad and everything. Mm-hmm. But then, Reacher goes out there and he has jokes. He has jokes when it comes to this.
I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see, because I know I wrote some of these funny jokes down. What was it? Man, this doesn't sound. But he made the joke. He was like, "Oh, teach him how to fight," and he was like, "Well, what if I'm going to? Because what's it? Something to the effect of, if I'm going to be the weaker man, or what if I'm not the weaker guy in the fight?" And he's like, "Oh, you definitely will be the weaker guy."
Yeah, he said, "You'll always be the weaker guy."
Yeah, you'll always be the weaker guy. Because that was because. There you go. We're done. He's like, "Oh, how about this? Clearly, you don't know how to throw the punch." Because he says, "Oh, can I punch your hand? What if I hurt you?" He's like, "You serious? You're not going to hurt me." He puts his hands up. He feels it. He's like, "All right, it's not going to work." And then he says, "You ready?" And he slaps him. He says, "All right, this isn't going to work." He says, "All right, how about this? You got to think strategic now. So if you're going to have a fight, tell the guy you're going to hit him at 3, and then hit him on 2." And he's like, "He said, should I be doing this? It's dirty." And it's like, no, you have to do this. This is the only way these things are going to work out for you.
He says, if you're the weaker person, you should always be the first one to throw the first punch.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I fully believe.
There's a lot of other things that could be a factor. What if there's more than one person?
I personally believe that if you know that you're going to fight, just be the first one to throw the first punch. Right?
I saw what's this guy's from Dusk Till Dawn. He was the vampire. I'm blanking on his name. The Mexican actor, really big in Diesel also. Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo.
Oh,
He did this How to Survive in Prison movie. It was like a documentary talking to like people and stuff. And that was one. It was like if you know that somebody wants to confront you or plans to, just make the first move. Go after him first.
yeah,
But anyway, through this whole time, we see that Zachary Beck is watching from the window.
yeah,
And then he gets a call. And then now we know what's going on. But
yeah.
before we get there, let's jump to Villa and Duffy. They're having their heart-to-heart in the car. And this comes back to what you were bringing up, that Villa has got some concerns of everything that's happening here, especially with Reacher.
Yeah, this guy just kind of kills people, and he doesn't think twice about it. But again, he is also in the military. They are on they're
DEA agents.
Yeah. So they're law enforcement. Two different things, right?
Yeah. Serve and protect, and the other one is to kill if he necessary.
Yeah, even though he's he's military police, you're in the military, you do different things. The Navy SEALs do not do the same things that SWAT does, right?
Yeah. But he brings up some good points, and this is a valid point when he says, "Are you sure this is all worth it? Like he's killed a guy." And she was like, "Well, I helped. I took out some." It's like, yeah, exactly. For what? For Teresa? Is she worth it? And she says yes. And I'm looking out for her. And he's like, "Well, I'm looking out for you." To that effect, because he's concerned. And remember, he had mentioned it, if not the last episode, episode 4. He's on the verge of retirement, right? Like this is not. She said she has superiors. I don't know what she told him she was doing this whole time, because clearly this is not a 24-hour operation, or not even 48 hours. This is multiple days off the grid. Did she take vacation time? Did Villa take vacation time? And they're doing this on the side.
Or it's one of those things where, hey, you know what? You have free reign to do what you need to do, and then you let us know later on. That's kind of how I. That's how I feel. Like,
you know what? The lead.
Like you go do what you need. You just need to let us know that you are actually working on something. You've been around long enough. You have the free reign to do that stuff. That's how I took it. I could be completely wrong, but who knows?
Could be. I mean, but where we do know is that they had the laptop, which was Angel's laptop, because that's what they picked up at the warehouse. And they're looking at other locations, and now that's where they're heading to one of the locations to see if that's where Teresa is, because she's got to be in one of them, right?
Yeah.
And so they head over there, and they can't find anything. We'll find out they have no cell signal. Well, at that moment, we can just go to where Reacher is with Zachary, and we find out Zachary is like, "Hey, we got a hit off of Angel's laptop."
Like,
what do you mean?
A tracker.
Yeah, it blew up. He was like, no, it's not there. It's a tracker, and it's pinging at one of our other locations. So somebody has it. So we're going to go over there. So he's like, oh, okay. Now, if I remember, he sent him over there to go there. Is that what he said? No, he sent people over. He said he had sent some people over there.
No, yeah, well, first they sent people, and then he told Reacher to go over there and make sure that
it gets done. That's it. So it's the follow-up, because at first I thought he sent him, and so that way he was calling. But then as we get to the last scene, there were already guys that knocking at the door.
Yeah. So yeah, they're inside. They're looking. They can't find her, and then Billy does make the comment of, "Oh, look, no bars."
Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, well, it's a solid silver room, so that's why you're not getting anything." Because it's going straight to voicemail for Reacher, where he's like, "Hey, you got to get out of there."
And then we see these 3 guys pull up. They look inside, and they basically say, "Well, we need to kill anyone that's in there."
Yep. Now here's all right, and that's how this episode ends, as everybody knows. But here's the question: do you think this is that location, or maybe they just left the laptop? Because we know the young DEA agent has the other guy tied up, the shadow. Like, do you think that's there? That's the same spot.
Where they're at?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they looked in their car.
Oh, that's right. The car was there.
Yeah, they looked in their car.
That's right. My bad. That's right. You're right. So they are there. All right. So, man. So the question now is, do they interrogate that guy? Do they just kill the guy? They're definitely going to free the shadow. He's going to spill everything if they do.
Now, the one thing that I do enjoy about this show is that I could Susan's not going to die. We know that. I could see Billy getting killed off because they don't have a problem killing people off. We've seen that in previous seasons. We're seeing it already. The way um, Dominique was killed off. The way Duke, like we never found out why Duke ate outside. Like,
Well,
you gotta
remember, no,
find that out.
we sort of did because we found out that it wasn't for him. Because remember when when Reacher went into the
Oh,
barn and he found the earring, he was like, "Oh, she was here," and then she was moved. So it's safe
well,
to say that he was
we were
bringing
thinking
food.
that. Yeah.
Only
I
because
mean,
the cook would have said it, or the maid would have said that they were bringing food. I don't
yeah.
know. That's my theory. We'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully all that because we still have to find out what Teresa is. I don't think Teresa's dead. I do think Teresa. There's been too many. Susan needs a redemption story. Because obviously Reacher isn't getting his redemption story because we found out that Dominique was killed. We also figure out this is the reason why he doesn't want to bring Neagley in.
Yeah.
Even though she knows who Quinn is, I don't think Reacher's ever been. And maybe we missed it, but I don't think Reacher's ever been fully upfront on how brutally sadistic Quinn is.
No, no, he didn't. He didn't say. He just had said when he was talking about the strategy, when he's talking to the general of what he thinks Quinn was doing with Cole was
Yeah,
torture. He just said he's going to torture her and she is not going to talk. And she's going to take
yeah,
that torture. And like you said, when we saw her hanging with the blood dripping, she's naked, and we know she's definitely because when back to that scene, he put something over a sheet or something over the body when the
yeah.
police did show up, and they were like, "Oh, are you Reacher?" And it's like, "Yes." It's like, "Who's that?" And he explains, and where's Quinn? He escaped. He's not here. I don't know. But
Which again, why are not the police like, let's see some ID first, right?
oh yeah,
Because what if it was Quinn and he killed Reacher and he just put his outfit on? Like,
we
there's
have
a
to
lot of
assume. Yeah, we have to assume that the general gave a description. He's a massive man. If you
yeah,
see a big man, it's him wearing a
yeah.
tan jacket.
Maybe these
I
police
don't know.
officers maybe just rookies or maybe it's a small. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
This
yeah.
all again. This is nitpicky. This is what happens
Oh
when you
yeah.
try to watch a show and you're like, I want to enjoy the show, and you are, but you are also.
These are those little questions that pop up in your head. It was like, really, no ID needed here.
Yeah,
It's like
this
you're
is like the
standing over,
show. This
kneeling
is
over
like
a
the
dead
show.
body.
Yeah, if you went to the movies and you left with a friend, this is
Yeah.
what you're going to be talking about.
Mhm,
Except you didn't
mhm.
take notes. You're going to be like the guy literally just walked across another field, casting a huge shadow because there was literally a spotlight pretty much on.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh boy,
But
but
I do like your theory. I like your theory that maybe they just don't want to explain. This guy's so big, instead of trying to make him snoop around, he's just gonna walk right by.
yeah, and I've only read like two of the books, but I don't. Again, it's been a long time. I can't recall if that was in the description that Lee Charles ever referred to, like explained. Oh, he sneaks past these guards to get into the back door. I don't recall ever. I mean, again, in the comments, if this is a thing, and maybe it wasn't the producer's choice to direct him in this way of just walking like RoboCop straight into a building or straight into locations. And that's the other reason why going back to when he's giving Tony advice about, oh, you get her flowers, but not roses. Everyone does it. Just
Yeah,
ask her out. Really? I mean, I know it may work for you that way because look at you and then look at me, that type of thing. But for the normal folk, yeah, you got to try a little harder. I'm just saying.
I did laugh when you said he's just like RoboCop. He's just
He is.
walking straight across. Like,
He's got the real stern face. Everything he says, even if it comes off comical, is clearly not intended to be comical. He's not trying to crack jokes.
I will say, and I know I brought up the movies a couple times. After watching this, I think I'm going to want to go back and watch the movies again because now I have these notes and little things. I want to see if they made the Tom Cruise version. I think they did. He's not big, obviously, like him, but very cerebral, the same way that he is. He's more logical than physical.
But as you know, and everybody knows at this point because he does all his own stunts, Tom Cruise likes to take control of how he performs roles.
Yeah.
So this could be plenty of things where maybe it's not written to sneak around somebody. No, I'm going to do it. I just think it makes sense, and especially for Tom Cruise because he is a shorter man, it would look better, I guess, and easier for him to get even lower for different.
Well, yeah, and that's why I said I'd like to go back and see
if he does it. See if he does it.
Oh, because there are certain things. Because I mean, in the one where he fights the 4 guys, he pretty much tells them, "All right, so here's what's going to happen. One of you is going to get overly fierce. I'm going to take you out. One is going to run away because that's what one always does." And it's like. Yeah, there are little things. I'm just interested to see if the movie
if it aligns with how they're portraying the character here.
Yeah, the actual character.
Yeah.
We know it just like sleeps around. Like we do know that.
Yeah, we do know that. And at least even in this one, every season there is a love interest. So I don't. You know what I was thinking when we saw that interaction with the maid and Reach, I'm like, maybe this is it. It's not going to be Duffy. It's going to be the maid.
Yeah.
I could see her knocking. It's like, what do you want? And she just walks in, and then they're real subtle about it. Just close the door.
I think season 4 may be him sitting around getting STT tests.
Whoa. Oh, no, STD.
That's what it's all taken.
Oh, man, that's a whole uncut version. Wow. All right, people, there we go. Thanks again for sticking around. This was our review and discussion for episode 4, Dominique of Reacher. Thanks again for sticking with us, whether it's here on YouTube on the Koalition or if you found us on Spotify and YouTube and Amazon. I already said YouTube, sorry. Apple Podcasts and Amazon. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for everything. Again, comment anywhere. We will bring these things up. Some people have already made some comments. They find the show interesting. Reacher itself, and they're enjoying it. We agree. This is fun. We like this show. We like.
Be sure to hit a like. Be sure to hit the like. It's the easiest thing to do. Easiest thing to do.
Yep, that is true. And before we head out, hey, anything you want to plug, Lawrence? You're a busy man. You're always doing stuff. So anything you want to plug on your channel? What's up?
I see this chair so much. So if you are into toys, I do a show, Monday Night Toy Ramblings, every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I go 3+ hours just talking about toys and always have a topic. And every Thursday, I do a Thursday with a friend where I pull someone from my community. Some of this helps support me, and we get to know who they are. I always find it really interesting. You see these lives, and you always wonder, who is this person here? Like, what is their story? You were just on it last week, so we'll check that one out if you want to know who this guy is. I'm an open book. You watch my stuff, you'll find out.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely, and he's very good with responding if you're in the chat. So if you send a message, he will answer it.
I do my best.
Good with that. He's very good with that.
If people are spending their time to ask me a question, I'm going to try and obviously get back to them because
I agree. That makes sense.
Best way to interact. I'm not giving my phone number, so
no. Yep. And let's see. I'll have my review of Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii, and that's going live tomorrow on the Koalition. And go ahead and check that out if you're on the fence about that. It's a very wacky pirate game in the Yakuza universe. But anyway, thanks again for all the support on this and sticking with us and continue to stick with us and share and all that good stuff. So we will see you next week for episode 5. Peace, everybody.
Take care.